Hello. I have one important question for you. Do any of you really have a database where time off is not implemented? If yes, you should ask yourself why. Because you have in front of you this free app available, very easy to implement, which will have such an impact on the whole company. Not only will it make HR team's life easier, it will be also very impactful for all the employees and all the managers. I am Pierre Kenen, business analyst at Odoo, and today I will show you how we brought time off to the next level. As I was saying, time off is one of the most important perks an organization can give to its employee. It will help attract and retain top talent, because everyone needs to take holidays and to be able to plan them a long time in advance. So every employee needs to know when they can take time off, how many time off they have, and if all those time off have been approved. For that, they will improve in focus in their job, and it's important for them money-wise. But before showing you how smoothless time off management has become, what is this talk really about? Well, today I will display the two main focuses we had for time off. And for the first one, we wanted to slow down. Let's take a step back and let's see where the app is right now. We wanted to enhance this app to make sure that each user gets a seamless experience. So not only have we totally revamped the dashboard of time off, but we have also made a tons of various subtle improvements in usability. All of that to make time off easier to navigate, more user-friendly, and more time efficient. And for the second focus of time off, well, of course, we have a lot of new features. And all of those new features aim at covering even more use cases. With all those new FOCs we talked about in every country, we need new features to cover all the local specificities. And we're going to show that in just a moment. But instead of throwing at your faces lots of new features, let's see them in a demonstration. So in this demo, let's take our office in the US, our Odoo office in the US, and there, by law, you don't have to give any employees any time off. It's strange, I hear, but here we want to keep the Belgian touch, and we want to keep the Belgian touch and give them 10 annual legal days. So we have those. So we will see new features thanks to that, and then let's be closer to reality. And how it works in the US is that every employee would accrue for their time. So what do we mean by accrue? It's really while they work, they will gain those time off and get those time off once they get paid. So if they get paid twice a month, well, twice a month they will get half a day to get to the 12 accrued days of the year. All right? So let's see that in our demo. Let's go into Odoo and display how it has become for all those use cases. For the first one, let's go into time off. And I'm going to create a straight new time off type just for those 10 annual days. So I can create a new time off type. So the time off type makes it very easy to really define how this time off is going to work, all the configuration about allocation, validation, and so much. So let's say US legal days, brand new time off. Let's get the approval is the time off officer. And what's great is that if I'm choosing that the time off officer approves, I can see when he gets notified. So here, if I leave this field empty, nobody will be notified. But now this is a new field because before it was a many-to-one, now it's a many-to-many. So I can gain a lot of agility of who gets notification for each time of type. If someone is out of office, we can get someone else to approve those time off. So here, let's say Mitchell admin, my user, and Mark demo. And while I'm here, that's when I can really see one of the new features we just saw before, the negative cap. So when I allow negative cap for a specific time of type, it will give a lot of agility for companies to let their employee take sometimes more time off than they have at the moment. So the use case, for example, I only have 10 legal days, no accrued days yet, but I want to go out in holidays from the end of the year and also in January, but I don't have those days yet. If I allow the negative cap, I will be able to go in negative because I'm only going to get those there next year, and then everything will be all right. So let's put an amount in negative. We can still put a cap. So here, let's say 10 days because we don't want that they go over 2 years of handicapped of days. And let's just go down, choose some color for visibility in the dashboard, and put one specific image for those time off. All right, so this is all about the setup of the time off type. Once this is done, I can just allocate this time off to any employee. So I can go into management, allocation. As you can see, there is some small features, as I was saying, but that you might not see, but that only make the app very easier to use and more intuitive. For example, here we change all the filters, so you really see the relevant information and what you expect to see when you go to the allocation of time off. So let's create a new one for Mitchell. Regular allocation, but with our new time off type. Let's say that it does have a limit for the year, so they're gonna have a validity until the 31st of this year. And here, let's already give him the 10 days. Of course, I'm just doing it for Mitchell here. I could do it easily for the full company, for a specific department, for some occasion after the EXP. If Fabien said all the experts work well, maybe he could give 1 day off by only this department, so it can work like that as well. All right, here let's keep employee. Allocation is good. I can save and validate directly. So again, a small improvement here, only 2 stages for the allocation. There were one which was to submit, while we say it's don't really make any sense to have this. We want to make it very fast, very efficient. We can just validate, just a name, and then I can validate this time off allocation. Time off 1 for Michelle, we validate, and now I can go in my own dashboard, and as Michelle, I can see my new 10 legal days. And now you can see the dashboard I was talking about. So now it's very clear what's going on. We have a reworked dashboard with on the right new legend where you really see what's displayed on the left. We've changed a lot of things like the mandatory days. Before it used to be stress day. It was like a politic name, how it should use in legal termination, but it's way more clear to use mandatory days, so let's keep it that way. Of course, it's the Odoo experience. So as we said, from the 8th to the 10th, it's not the best time to take a days off. Of course, if you have an important reason like a sick days, a time off officer can come and still give you a specific time off. All right? So as I was saying, we also see all of the time off that are validated, that have to be approved, that have been refused. So here, I took some days off, they've been refused for whatever reason. Below, I asked for those days, but they are still to be approved. And below, I have some days that have been approved. All of that are some changes. Not all are changes, but you really see how smooth and clear for each employee. They can really see the situation right now for all the time off. Something else, this is also a brand new button, because before you could do all the new allocation time off there, but we want to separate it. So for allocation, it's on the right. You ask for a new time off, it's on the left. So we make it again more simple because we want time off to be as simple as it needs. Now that I was talking about the time off and the negative cap, let's see how it works in the dashboard. Right now, I'm gonna take days off starting on the 18th and go until next year. So here, if I apply, you can see 15 days. So if I attend my US legal days, I have an allocation only for 10 days. You can see, as we were saying, that if I say unpaid, those work because we don't need allocation for those. We can easily delete those from the wizard here. Okay, I want to delete those. Let's do it. And let's start again with the right time of type. Here is the US one. again until the 5th, 15 days, I can save, and directly I can see I can go into negative, and as soon as next year arrives, I get my new allocation, and those days will go back to positive. As a time officer, I see this request. No need to go into management, time off, approve there. Now we want to make it again very fast. So I can click on it. I see the allocation. Directly on the result, I have those two buttons, which make it very easy to approve or refuse straight from these results. So here, let's approve those. The legend, we're gonna change to adapt to validated days. And now, very easy for any employee to test those annual legal days. So this covers the first part. And now what about the 12 accrued days? So for that, I already have one time of type, which are my accrued days. So it's a classic time of type that you can modify it how you want it. But I can also go into the accrual plan and create a new accrual plan just for that. So the accrual plan is not just to give some seniority over the years to some senior employee. So of course it works well for that, but it really covers a lot of use cases that some countries have and some specificities. So let's call that the US accrual plan. And as I was saying at the very beginning, each employee in the US is going to work, and when they work, that's where they deserve this time off. So it's at the end of the accrual period, and I'm going to look how many days did I work? Do I deserve all my accrual days? So I do say at the end of the accrual period and based on work time. Because if I do based on work time, it means that if an employee takes half a month of sick days, then he didn't accrue for half a month, so it's not going to get the full accrued allocation. All right, the carryover time is if I have more time off at a specific date, should this time off be given to be carried over to the next period. For example, at the start of the fiscal year, you can choose at the start of the year, at the allocation date as well if you want, or order if you have any specificities. So again, configuration that's very agile to face many use cases. Here we keep at the start of the year. Once all of this is done, I can create my first milestone. All right? I was saying I'm accruing for 12 days. Since in the US, most of the time they get paid twice a month, they get paid on the 1st and on the 15th of the month, I should only give half a day for every time they're getting paid. And not daily, of course, but I already have a lot of options. One that really suits my need here, twice a month. And on the 1st and the 15th, already correct, I could change for another date. But now, every 1st and every 15th of the month, I'm going to get half a day to get to the 12 days over the year. All right, cap accrued time. Let's keep it at 10. So we don't want to, no, more than 10 if they can have up to 12. Let's say 20 days, but you don't want people to go crazy and 3 years later they can take 40 days at a time. Milestone reach. Well, we consider that as soon as I give the allocation, it's going to start accruing. So here, let's say even 0 days after allocation starts, they're going to accrue for each day for all those days off. And carryover, as I said, all time will be carryover between the different accrual period. So I can save and close, and at the start of the year, all the days I have accrued going to be carried over to the next year. Here I could create a new milestone because I don't need it in my use case, but in many use cases, after some years, you get to a next level and you get more days off. So I could do it. Let me just say, for example, this is 1 day daily, just to show you a simple way. We can save and close. And here it means after 1 day, I will have a new accrual period. So it's not relevant for my use case, but I just want to add that to see a new configuration that appears as soon as I add a second level, which is a milestone transition. So this is important to know, okay, after 1 day, I should get my other level. Should I switch immediately to the new way of allowing days off of this milestone as soon as I'm reaching this level, so the 1 day, or should I wait the accrual period, so the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month, to actually switch to the next milestone? In my use case, we don't need it. Let's delete it and just save as such. Once it's done, I can go into my allocation, and you will be able to see all the improvement we made to make it really, really usable, really intuitive. Because before it was really hard to see, okay, I'm allocating for an accrual plan, how many days it's gonna get if I allocate 3 months in advance. In 3 months, how many days do I actually have? Well, all of this has been thought through. So let me show you how it actually works. Let me do an accrual allocation. Our accrual plan of US accrual plan there. Time of tap is the one I choose before. So US accrual days off. And here I can choose the start date. So I can choose the allocation is right now. So we only start accruing now. But if you are doing a new implementation or someone is arriving in Odoo but already was an employee and has the contract from before, I can say that he started accruing, for example, beginning of March, and directly I will see, okay, right now you are giving him 7.95 days. Why do I have not a round number? It's because if you remember, on my accrual plan, I said this is based on work time. So if I took some days off at some point, this is going to change the allocation I should have. All right, let's keep that. No limit, as long as I'm in the company, I'm going to keep this accrual plan. No need to allocate it every year. And let's just give it a name again. Validate. And yeah, I didn't write the name, I think. Time of 2, validate the anterior to the date. Oh yeah, that's a new security reason. Right now, we don't want to make any mistake because a lot of people accrue and don't respect the different dates. So here you can see my run until got filled up. I wrote in the wrong field, and so I can just lead back, type my name again, and now I should be able to save that. Let me go back to that. Yeah, so I think it's been approved. Let me just quickly create it again. So go back to allocation, create a new one, quickly deaccrual US plan. We said it will start beginning of March. We don't put the run until limit again, so we don't have our issue anymore. It's the US accrual days off, all this seems fine, time of 2, and validate. And now, perfect, it works. No mistake again. Odoo will not give me an Odoo error and I don't know what's going on. We have a specific message where you really know why it didn't work, okay? So now that my allocation is done, let me see how it reflects in the dashboard. In my dashboard, for the ones that are the most subtle, they can see that there is a small changes. So for an employee that has now an accrual plan, you can see the new allocation request also has a new configuration just above to know what's the balance at a specific date. So before, when allocating the accrual plan, I was able to see how many days I'm going to get in the past, but I can also see my situation in the future to plan my holidays, and for an employee, very interesting to know the situation at a specific date. So for example, if I look at the end of the year, how many days will I have the 28th of December, directly I can see my new allocation, how many days I should get. Here I see I do have a lot of days, so just by clicking here, I can go back to today and see how many days I have. I think I use the same type of day twice, so I have a lot of days now, but that's fine. Let's continue like this. So you can see really how the date changes, and if I go even more in the future, I can go on the next year, and there it's also going to adapt not only for the accrual plan, but for all the allocation that have a specific validity date. So I wouldn't be able to see some specific time off that have a validity date that are ending. And that's it, that easily. We were able to cover our use cases. There is a lot of other features that I can show you, that are not covered by the use case, but such as in the overview, you can now have half days. So you really know if one of your employees is not there in the morning, he's going to arrive in the afternoon. You can see that in the overview. We improved a lot the notification. So not only can you have the many-to-many, so you can notify many person for a specific time off, you also have a new configuration. So once an employee has a time off that has already been validated, if he deletes it, because we want them to be able to delete those time off anyway, all the time off officer will get a notification and know that it has been deleted. But still, here were the big changes in time off. So to conclude, time off is not just about giving days off. It's really about strategically managing one of your most precious assets, which is time. With all these upgrades, we were able to see that not only the HR team will benefit, but the whole organization is going to gain in efficiency, agility, and overall well-being. So go ahead, elevate your time off with Odoo 17. Thank you. Moi, je t'entends pas.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
All,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Pierre, and congratulations for your talk.
Thank you.
Our audience, can you hear me? That's better. Yes. So first of all, congratulations and thank you very much for this talk. I think our audience knows everything about time offs now. So I guess you have a little time for the questions, and we've got 3 for the moment. The first one, I think it's about, is it possible to know exactly what are your remaining days compared to the total amount of days that were allocated by time off?
Yeah, so this, of course, you can see there is many ways to report on time off. If I go to the reporting, I can see a specific reporting by employee to see the days that have already been taken. But also, if I go by type, I have some database issue. Here I'm in my. Okay, I have some issue here.
Okay, but it's possible.
It's possible either in the reporting, and we also have some features in the employee where you can see the now it's all in all the reporting has been switched back to time off. So if you go by tab, I have some local DB issue, but you can really see the situation, how many days are left, and on all the days that are allocated.
Okay, thank you very much. So another question, I'm not sure if I understand it quite well, but the question is about I think it's more about, is it possible to make sure that people cannot take 2 types of different time off at the same time? So, for instance, here they are talking about parental leave. So this person is not supposed to take any other vacation type anymore. So is that also something you can do?
Well, if I get my time off, and I did took some days off, so I'm trying to take an allocation for those days, you see, you have already have booked time off there, so you don't want to overlap, and that's why you can modify your allocation to make sure you're not gonna try to use 2 days of different time off for 2 allocations. So you can really modify it so I assure that those allocations don't overlap, so those time off don't overlap.
And the last question is all about, on time of types, you're able to decide some kind of validations. You can say it's done by one person, the time of officer, or you could also say it's done by the employee manager. And I guess the person wants to know a bit more about how this works. Can you maybe explain a bit?
Yeah, so I might have gone a bit fast on that configuration, but this is really defined for each time of type. So for example, if I go on to this time off type. Here the paid time off has to be approved, and I have 4 selection options. Either no validation, some days I can just take without any validation, time off officer, employee's approver, or both. So the employee's approver is really defined on the employee. On the employee form, you're gonna have a set of approvers, either the time off approver, the app results approver, the expense approver, and that's where you can define a specific approver for a specific employee.
Mm-hmm. And I think the question is also all about the fact that basically in some cases, if you're a time off officer, you can basically validate the 2 levels of validation. So maybe we can discuss it together later. I think Pierre will be be available at the booth to discuss that use case.
Yeah, you can of course come to the booth, the HR booth. We'll be there most time except at 4 when we have another talk. But for a specific use case, feel free to join, of course, at the HR booth, and we can really look into details in that.
And I think that's it for the questions. So thank you again. And
thanks a lot for joining, and have a pleasant afternoon.